Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm JaimeScott and today we're talking about the 3 months I lived and worked in Disney World while completing the Disney College Program. First things first, what do you think of the new intro? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Let's see, from my first video to my second video, I think we're now at 3 followers, which is a 300% increase. I love the support, love to see it. Thanks for following, and yeah, let's get into it. I did the Disney College Program back in 2009, and there I met one of my best friends in the entire world named Shibby. Shibby and I met working in Disney World, and the reason that this is relevant now is because Shibby is on her way from Bangkok to Nashville, Tennessee. It's a 29-hour flight, or 29 hours of travel over 3 flights, and I thought that I might as well give some context to who Shibby is and where we met and the crazy experience that was the Disney College Program, because the next vlog, you're gonna see me and Shibby running around Nashville together. Let's start from the beginning. How did I even end up in the Disney College Program? Well, that is actually a little bit of a sad story because I went to Penn State my freshman year and I was super excited. I had this big idea in my head that I was gonna go to Penn State and make all these friends and join a sorority and just have the best 4 years of my life. But that didn't happen. I ended up rushing with a bunch of the best friends that I had made so far at Penn State and actually didn't end up getting into the sorority I wanted, so I dropped out of the process while all my friends went off and started their new experiences in these sororities. I was totally left out and totally heartbroken. And one day I was walking around campus and saw the flyer for the Disney College Program and I thought, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what I need to do. So I went to the orientation and I remember the classroom was set up and they had a huge projector and I sat watching the whole presentation and I just knew that I had to apply. So I applied, I eventually got in, and I was just so excited. One, because I was leaving Penn State. I just could not bear to be there. I was so embarrassed about what happened and didn't really know where I fit in anymore. And then I was gonna go live and work in Disney, so I was all for it. And an even more exciting part was that I got the role that I wanted. When you do your application, you have a phone conversation and this recruiter gets to know you and then they place you in a different category. And there were categories like you could be in marketing, you could be in merchandising, you could be at attractions, you could be sanitation. Like there were all types of roles that you could be put in. And I got chosen for attraction, which meant I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna be on Space Mountain, I'm gonna do Tower of Terror. Like that's where I would be working at, one of the attractions in the park. So I was so excited. Fast forward, I move out of Penn State, I move into Orlando, Florida. They had student housing. I had just random roommates that I got paired with, and to be honest, was not super thrilled or became close with anyone, but I went out to Disney orientation and learned about the history of the parks, learned about the history of Walt Disney, and was just like, whoa, like building up this whole experience more and more until I got my actual location of where I was going to be working. And prior to that, during orientation, I remember being told that my hair, which at that point was brown with like lots of blonde hair highlights, that it was not uniform enough and that there was a certain look that all the cast members, that's what employees are called at Disney, all the cast members had to have one uniform colored hair. So I had to go to the hairdresser and I had to add more blonde to my hair because I wasn't going back to brown. And I'm gonna pull up all the pictures that I have because boy was my hair blonde. And in the moment I loved it, I rocked it, but for sure never again. So then I got my assignment and I was chosen to work at 2 attractions in Hollywood Studios, one called The Little Mermaid, the other called Playhouse Disney. and I didn't really know what to expect, but I loved where I got assigned. And I find out that these are 2 shows that happen in Hollywood studios. So they're not rides, they're shows that people wait in line for and they walk into and sit theater style. And I was like, okay, this is what it is. I don't know how it's gonna be, but it ended up being great because, I mean, it was just a fun place to work, and there was a lot of opportunity to be in the air conditioning. And when you're in Florida, you want to be near air conditioning. Okay, wait, where are we? So I got assigned my role and got my little uniform that I wore, the white pants and the black belt and the red shirt tucked in, like that's what you wore every day, which was just hilarious on its own. And then I got to go to my first day of work and I learned the ropes. And what happens at Disney is you go in, you clock in, you put in your employee ID number, it spits out this receipt and it'll say, Jamie, your first assignment, which could be like strollers or the queue. Strollers, literally parking people's strollers when it's busy. And then there's the queue where you just make sure the line is all working. There was also like working in the theater where you would get these like little flashlights and you would point them where to go, or if someone during the show was using flash photography, you would like take and like click the light in their face so they would stop doing photography. And everything, they would plan out your breaks, and every time a new person came in, they would, you know, pass around this receipt and you would go to your next job. One of the jobs working at specifically the Little Mermaid show was everyone from the line would first move into this room, and the cast member, me, was giving a speech to them to let them know no flash photography, that there's going to be a lot of like flashing lights and loud noises, and there's going to be different like creatures being shown, puppets. And I remember specifically one time I gave my speech, it was the beginning of me working at Disney, and I said the word creatures, I don't remember what the word is now, that I was supposed to say, and I got taken aside and was told, you know, you really need to stick to the script. If you use a different word, something like creature, it might scare the little kids, and we can't have that. So from that day on, I studied up, I never made another mistake again, and it was just like another Disneyism of like, you better just do exactly what they say between your hair, what you say, even pointing when you are pointing to another attraction or the bathroom. You don't, pointing like this is rude in different cultures, so you use 2 fingers. And I also worked at Playhouse Disney, which was a stage show where kids and parents would come in and they'd sit on the floor, and there was a stage and there was a live real person host, and then underneath the stage were a bunch of puppets, and they would have all the types of puppets, Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, so much fun. And one of the best parts of that job was sometimes you would get assigned to sit with your back to the stage. So pretend the stage is right back here and the show's happening here, I'm here. And I was literally just sitting here waiting for kids to possibly get loose from their parents and run up and try to get to Mickey and Minnie and everybody up there. I would literally grab them, turn them around, shove them. No, I wouldn't shove them, but you know, bring them back to their seat, or by then their parent would probably have walked up and gotten them from us. But that was just such a funny job. Literally just sit there and make sure no kids get on stage. Working at these 2 attractions was incredible, and that is where I met Shibby. We both got assigned to this job, and there were tons of international students that we got to work with. Americans, Chinese, Thai, and like the Netherlands, like people were from all over, and that's what made it so fun. But Shibby and I just had an immediate connection and would hang out and would just laugh. And I just remember thinking like, this girl, English isn't even her first language. She's never lived in America before, but she's the funniest person I've ever met. I'll never forget, there was a night where it was a really slow night at the park and Shibby was working strollers. So when you're working strollers, you are kind of out on your own and with the guests. And I went to go find her for some reason, and I found her smoking a cigarette with a guest. And you can imagine that was frowned upon, and I knew if she got caught, she was gonna get fired and probably like have to leave the country, but she didn't get in trouble, and I just thought she was the funniest person ever, like just completely risking it, not giving an F, just smoking a cigarette in the park with a guest. Another one of my favorite memories is when I was just hanging out backstage. Backstage, that's just like the break rooms and stuff like that. I was hanging out backstage and I saw Belle, because somewhere else in Hollywood Studios they did a maybe once or twice daily show of the Beauty and the Beast, like a live stage show, and I saw Belle and I ran up to her and just said, I love Beauty and the Beast, like it is my favorite Disney movie, and I just wanted to say hi to her. And she ended up inviting me to come to a show and then do a meet and greet with her and the Beast, which Shibby and I ended up going to, but all I can really remember is feeling violently ill that day because we had partied the night before, and on the way home from the meet and greet, I made Shibby drive my car because multiple times we had to stop and I had to release the hangover. The other thing that happened, which I'm just like, oh my gosh, but Playhouse Disney, there was a live host doing the show with puppets, and when I first started at the show, we met the host briefly, but when you're like a cast member versus one of the talent or characters, you're not really intermingling as much. But throughout our time there, different people we knew like had met the host and were friendly with him, and he was cool. But as time went on, you know, you start to get Disney goggles, and for whatever reason, me and all the other girls that worked at this attraction had the biggest crush on this host. And he did have a fiance who actually worked at the parks and played Snow White. But at one point, I had a friend, Lindsay, and she is also in theater, so her and this person became friendly, and he ended up inviting her to come see another show he was doing in Magic Kingdom. And I was like, yeah, I'm down to go, like let's go check it out. I think it was the same day, we both had the same day off, so that was convenient, and we went and saw the show. It was great. And afterward we were hanging out and the guy mentioned, oh yeah, me and my fiance broke up, we're no longer together. And lo and behold, I don't know how much longer later it was, but him and I actually started dating, and I just remember feeling like I was the coolest girl in the world because I was dating John. Because I was dating the host of the show when everybody had a crush on him, and it was very short-lived. We didn't really have chemistry, but in the moment when you're working in Disney and those are the people around you, it was fun. So yeah, that is how I met Shibby. She's coming over on her 29-hour flight as we speak. She has come to America before. She visited me in Los Angeles, and we did San Francisco and Las Vegas as well. And then when I was living in New York City, she came and saw me there. She had some family in town also, and now she's coming to Nashville. So I feel so lucky to have made this best friend in Thailand, which actually I've been to Thailand too to visit her, but I need to go again soon. But yeah, she's like a sister to me, and I love her so much, and I can't wait for you to get here, Shibby, and you'll be meeting her in our next vlog. So make sure to tune in, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.